Every single day, millions of Americans walk down the grocery aisle, reach for a green glass bottle, and pay a premium for what they believe is liquid health. We pour it over our salads. We use it to cook for our families. We trust the words printed in bold, elegant gold lettering, extra virgin. But inside the multi-billion-dollar olive oil industry, a dark secret has been hiding in plain sight. For decades, what looks like a pure, heart-healthy superfood has frequently been something else entirely. Independent laboratory testing, university studies, and international food fraud investigations have revealed a staggering reality. A massive percentage of the olive oil sold on American supermarket shelves fails to meet the actual legal standards of being extra virgin. Some bottles are degraded, stale, and stripped of nutrients. Others are blended with entirely different, cheaper seed oils. Today, we are looking directly behind the label. We analyze the compliance data, the major class action lawsuits, the international shipping records, and the chemical realities of the most popular brands in the United States. We are ranking 9 major olive oil brands that have faced severe criticism, failed testing, or legal challenges regarding their purity and quality. And more importantly, we will reveal the only 3 brands you can actually trust to deliver exactly what you pay for. The truth about what is sitting in your pantry right now is not what you expect. And the brand occupying our #1 spot is guilty of a deception that changes how we view the entire grocery industry. Bertolli is a name that practically defines the American perception of Italian cooking. The brand traces its roots all the way back to 1865, originating in a small shop in Lucca, Tuscany. Francesco Bertolli built a business founded on the promise of authentic Mediterranean quality. For generations, consumers have trusted the Bertolli name. When you see it on the shelf, you think of heritage, family traditions, and pristine Italian countryside. The warm, inviting packaging suggests an unbroken chain of craftsmanship from the old world to your modern kitchen. When a consumer pays for Bertolli extra virgin olive oil, they expect a fresh, unadulterated juice pressed directly from high-quality olives. It's packed with antioxidants and a vibrant, peppery finish. Wow. The reality hidden inside the supply chain tells a completely different story. Bertolli has been the target of major consumer class action lawsuits in the United States. The core of the litigation focused on allegations that the oil was routinely mislabeled as extra virgin. Testing revealed that by the time these bottles sat under the bright lights of American grocery stores, the oil had frequently degraded, failing the strict chemical and sensory standards required to hold the extra virgin title. Furthermore, the prominent Italian imagery masked a complex truth. The olives were often grown and harvested in entirely different countries, shipped in bulk and merely blended or bottled in Italy. This matters because extra virgin olive oil is highly sensitive. When poor quality olives are used or when transport conditions expose the oil to excessive heat and light, it oxidizes. The health benefits vanish, leaving behind a stale product that lacks the medicinal properties you are paying for. The heritage was proudly displayed. The internal quality was left behind in the shipping container. But while Bertolli relied on its deep historical roots, another massive brand built its empire on a completely different premise. A premise that promised everyday affordability for the average family, but hid an even greater compromise. Filippo Berio is another titan of the supermarket aisle, established in the mid-19th century. The brand positioned itself as the definitive choice for culinary enthusiasts who wanted an authentic, dependable product. Millions of shoppers pick up this bottle every single week, commands massive shelf space in almost every major retail chain. The marketing psychology relies heavily on the signature of Filippo Berio himself, printed on the bottle as a personal guarantee of excellence. Consumers believe they are buying an elite, traditional product that respects the rigorous standards of authentic olive oil production. The reality, however, led to a massive legal settlement. In a prominent federal class action lawsuit, consumers challenged the brand's right to use the phrase "imported from Italy." The investigation revealed that the vast majority of the olives came from countries like Tunisia, Greece, and Spain. The oil was merely mixed together in an Italian facility. More alarmingly, independent testing over the years, including a landmark study by the University of California, Davis, showed that many store-bought samples failed to meet extra virgin criteria due to oxidation, poor blending, or the inclusion of refined oils. When you consume oxidized or lower-grade oil, you are not just missing out on the flavor. You are consuming free radicals. The very reason people choose olive oil over cheap vegetable oil is completely defeated. The signature promised old-world perfection. The supply chain delivered global industrial blending. If major imported brands with centuries of history could fail to meet expectations, consumers hoped that America's largest retail giant could provide a more transparent alternative. They were wrong. Great Value is the flagship house brand of Walmart, the world's largest retailer. It was created to provide everyday essentials at a fraction of the cost of name brands. Price sensitivity drives millions to choose this bottle. In an era of rising food costs, the Great Value label offers comfort to families trying to eat healthy on a strict budget. The brand image is simple, honest, and utilitarian. Shoppers assume they are getting the exact same physical substance as the expensive brands, just without the flashy marketing markup. The reality is that producing real extra virgin olive oil is an inherently expensive, labor-intensive process. When independent researchers tested low-cost supermarket house brands, Great Value consistently ranked among the most problematic. Lab results indicated high levels of UV light absorption and primary oxidation. This means the oil was either old, exposed to poor temperature controls during transit, or mixed with lower quality refined olive oils to keep the price impossibly low. Walmart does not own olive groves. They contract with the lowest bidding global suppliers, leading to zero consistency and quality. Paying less for degraded oil is a false economy. You're paying a premium compared to canola oil. But receiving a product that chemically resembles a refined cooking oil rather than a fresh fruit juice, the price tag offered a bargain. The bottle contained an empty promise. But the issue of house brands goes far beyond the discount superstores. Even the grocery chains celebrated for healthy natural options have fallen victim to the systemic issues plagues the industry. Trader Joe's has developed a cult-like following across America. It is viewed as a quirky, trustworthy neighborhood grocery store that carefully curates its products to ensure high quality and ethical sourcing. People shop at Trader Joe's with their guard down. The brand has built an immense reservoir of consumer trust. The charming nautical theme and friendly staff suggest that if a product is on their shelf, it has been thoroughly vetted. Buyers believe they are discovering a hidden gem, a high-quality, pure extra virgin olive oil, sourced from boutique Mediterranean farms at a fair price. The reality came as a profound shock to loyal customers. In the comprehensive study conducted by the UC Davis Olive Center, which tested numerous store-bought extra virgin olive oils, Trader Joe's samples failed the sensory and chemical standards of extra virgin status. The panel detected flavor defects, such as mustiness and rancidity, which indicate that the oil was made from poor-quality olives or had significantly decomposed on the shelf. While Trader Joe's has attempted to update its sourcing over the years, the lack of third-party certification seals on many of their standard bottles leaves consumers playing Russian roulette with their salads. When a health-conscious consumer trusts a brand implicitly, discovering that the product is rancid or stale feels like a betrayal of that core relationship. The neighborhood market earned the trust. The industrial supplier failed to preserve it. If specialty grocers struggle with consistency, the scale of the problem multiplies exponentially when we look at the massive wholesale clubs that sell food by the gallon. Members Mark is the private label for Sam's Club, a division of Walmart. It specializes in bulk quantities for families and small restaurant businesses looking to maximize their buying power. Small business owners and large families rely heavily on these bulk jugs. The brand image is centered entirely on high-volume efficiency and reliability. Consumers assume that buying in bulk means they are simply getting a wholesale discount on legitimate, pure, extra virgin cooking oil. The reality is heavily tied to the packaging and the lengthy supply chains required to fill giant wholesale clubs. Industrial testing has repeatedly found that bulk house brands frequently fail extra virgin benchmarks. The use of large plastic containers accelerates the degradation process, as plastic is permeable to oxygen over time compared to dark glass. Furthermore, chemical analysis of these massive batches frequently reveals blends of oils from numerous countries across multiple continents, making true quality control nearly impossible to enforce. Buying extra virgin olive oil in a large plastic jug is a chemical contradiction. By the time you reach the bottom of the container, the oil has often completely oxidized. turning what should be an anti-inflammatory food into a source of cellular stress. The volume was built for savings. The packaging guaranteed the demise of the quality. Yet, some consumers believe they can avoid this trap entirely by simply spending more money on brands that position themselves as luxury items. But as we look at our next brand, price is revealed to be nothing more than an illusion. Corepli is a brand that oozes premium luxury. The bottle design is distinct, artistic, and clearly intended to look like a high-end centerpiece in an affluent kitchen. Corepli targets the consumer who is willing to pay extra for premium quality. The elegant marketing psychology makes you feel like an elite chef who demands nothing less than the finest ingredients. Shoppers believe they are purchasing a pristine top-tier, artisanal Italian oil that is subject to the absolute highest standards of purity. The reality is one of the most controversial chapters in modern food journalism. Corepli was heavily featured in an intense investigation by the Italian anti-fraud police. Italian authorities fined the parent company after discovering that oils labeled as extra virgin were actually lower quality refined or virgin oils passing as premium products. In addition, independent American testing corroborated these findings, repeatedly flagging the brand for failing to meet the basic chemical benchmarks of extra virgin status at retail locations. When a company charges a luxury premium for a substandard product, it is no longer just a supply chain issue. It becomes a fundamental breach of consumer ethics. The bottle was sculpted for luxury. The contents were mixed for profit. The luxury market proved unreliable. So, millions of Americans turned back to the classic, ubiquitous brands that have dominated grocery store shelves for half a century. But our next entry proves that familiarity does not equal truth. Pompeii is instantly recognizable. It is arguably the most widely distributed olive oil brand in the United States, utilizing distinct green plastic and glass bottles, along with large metallic tins. Pompeii is the safe, familiar choice for the everyday home cook. It feels American, dependable, and accessible. It is the brand your parents likely had in their kitchen. The consumer expects an honest, middle-of-the-road, genuine extra virgin olive oil that performs reliably across all daily cooking needs. The reality is defined by extreme inconsistency. Pompeii has made significant efforts in recent years to include quality control seals. Its sheer scale presents an enormous logistical challenge. Testing across different batches over the years has shown varying results, several lots failing the rigorous sensory analysis required for extra virgin certification, because Pompeii blends massive volumes of oil from dozens of global regions. The flavor profile and chemical stability can fluctuate wildly from month to month, meaning the bottle you buy today may look identical to the one you bought last month, but contain a vastly inferior product chemically. When you rely on an oil for health benefits, inconsistency means you never truly know if you are protecting your body or consuming a degraded fat. The name promised stability. The scale demanded compromise. But as we approach the final two worst offenders, we encounter a brand that capitalized perfectly on the modern health and wellness movement, creating a massive following by telling consumers exactly what they wanted to hear. Mazola is a household name famously associated with corn oils and heart-healthy marketing campaigns that date back decades. Their venture into the extra virgin olive oil market was a natural expansion. The brand leverages its massive, established authority in the cooking oil space. Consumers who grew up seeing the Mazola name trusted implicitly to protect their family's cardiovascular health. Shoppers believe they are buying an extension of that heart-healthy promise. A perfectly pure, unadulterated extra virgin olive oil optimized for wellness. The reality is that Mazola's primary expertise lies in industrial seed oil refining, and their olive oil line has lagged behind in strict quality protocols. In independent consumer testing groups, samples of Mazola olive oil frequently showed high levels of thermal degradation and advanced age. The testing indicated that the oil had sat in storage or transit for far too long, causing it to lose its status as extra virgin by the time it reached consumers, transforming a supposed health food into a stale, oxidized cooking medium. Using old, degraded oil under the guise of health is an invisible threat to a consumer's wellness goals. The label spoke of the heart. The chemical reality spoke of neglect. The lights dimmed completely, leaving only one final bottle under a dark red spotlight. We have reached the #1 spot, A brand so massive, so deeply embedded in American culture, that its name is practically synonymous with the product itself. But its history hides the ultimate deception. Goya is the absolute cornerstone of the Hispanic food market in the United States, and a massive player in the general grocery landscape. It is an empire built on authentic flavor and cultural pride. Goya represents more than just food. It represents identity and trust. Generations of families have bought Goya products without ever questioning the label, viewing the brand as a member of their own community. The close-up of the pristine Goya logo with the words "extra virgin olive oil" highlighted in gold. Consumers expect an authentic, full-flavored, premium olive oil that perfectly complements traditional, deeply loved family recipes. The reality is the most damning indictment in the entire investigative report. When the UC Davis Olive Center performed its comprehensive independent laboratory testing on major brands sold in the United States, Goya didn't just fail, it was flagged as one of the most consistent failures across multiple samples. The laboratory analysis revealed that the samples were plagued by sensory defects like rancidity, mustiness, and wine and vinegary flavors. The chemical markers proved the oil was severely degraded or adulterated with cheaper, lower-grade refined olive oils. Despite its massive market presence, the brand had allowed its quality control to collapse, selling a product that legally should not have been allowed to wear the extra virgin label. When a brand occupies such a profound place of trust in the homes of millions, allowing the product to degrade to this level is a complete failure of corporate responsibility. The brand became a cultural icon. The bottle became an industrial deception. The dark, tense music breaks. The red spotlights fade out, replaced by a warm, clear, natural golden light. The landscape looks bleak. It appears as though every bottle on the shelf is a gamble. But amidst the chaos of the olive oil industry, there are three distinct exceptions, three brands that refuse to compromise, providing absolute transparency and unmatched purity. The first true winner is California Olive Ranch. This brand completely revolutionized the domestic olive oil industry by moving production away from the murky and regulated global supply chains and anchoring it firmly in the fertile soil of California. California Olive Ranch is fundamentally different because they control the entire timeline. They harvest their olives using state-of-the-art mechanical processes and press them into oil within mere hours of leaving the tree. They print the exact harvest date clearly on the back of every single bottle. Furthermore, their oils carry the highly respected California Olive Oil Council certification seal, which guarantees that every batch passes rigorous independent laboratory and sensory testing before it can ever leave the facility. When you buy this bottle, you're getting a fresh, vibrant, highly stable oil packed with genuine, active polyphenols. It is widely available in almost all major U.S. supermarkets, bringing authentic purity to the mass market. The second real winner takes us back to Italy, but under completely different standards. Lucini Italia. Lucini Italia avoids the trap of industrial bulk blending. Instead, they partner exclusively with small, estate-driven family farms across Italy. The olives are hand-picked at the precise moment of optimal ripeness and pressed immediately in small batches. Lucini maintains an incredibly low natural acidity level, far below the maximum allowed by international law, which indicates a flawless extraction process. They proudly display their quality metrics and ensure their oils are stored in dark glass bottles to protect the delicate liquid from light damage. Lucini is available in premium grocery stores and health-focused markets nationwide, offering a genuine taste of real, unadulterated Italian craftsmanship. The final true winner is Cobram Estate, an international champion of olive oil purity. Cobram Estate utilizes a proprietary system they call tree to table. They own the groves, the nurseries, and the bottling facilities. Their oils have won countless gold medals at the most prestigious international competitions, consistently beating out traditional European luxury brands. Cobram Estate provides total traceability for every single bottle. Their oils are routinely verified by independent third-party organizations to ensure they contain incredibly high concentrations of antioxidants and zero defects. It is available at major supermarkets and online retailers. It's providing an absolute gold standard of health and flavor for the conscious consumer. The investigation is clear. The olive oil industry is a minefield of clever marketing, hidden blending, and oxidized products. but you do not have to be a victim of food fraud. When you shop for olive oil, ignore the beautiful pictures of the Italian countryside on the front label. Turn the bottle around. Look for 3 specific things: a dark glass bottle that protects the oil from light, a specific harvest date within the last 12 to 14 months, and a trusted third-party certification seal like the COOC, the EVA, or a verified DOP stamp. Real extra virgin olive oil is not just a cooking fat, it is medicine. You deserve to get exactly what you pay for. Protect your health by looking past the marketing, because the truth is always written on the back of the bottle.